This is Orlando Sentinel Now.
Hello and welcome. It's Monday, August 30th, and this is Orlando Sentinel Now. Today we're talking about nursing homes and mandated vaccines. We're also talking about the return of Disney's annual pass and where you can find some foods that will take you out of your comfort zone here in Central Florida. I'm your host, Joe Mario Pedersen, and joining me today, I have social issues reporter Kate Santich, theme park reporter Dwayne Bevel, and food columnist Amy Drew Thompson. Thank you all so much for being here. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. Kate, coming to you first for one of your latest headlines. Florida nursing homes protest COVID vaccines as deaths continue to climb here. Just jumping right into this, Kate, looking at what exactly the argument is against having the nursing staff and other members here in nursing homes get vaccines. What is their argument? Why are they opposed?
So here in Florida, we have a very low vaccination rate for those nursing home workers. It's about 47%, I think at the last count, 48%. And that's below the national average of 60%. So you have all these workers who are unvaccinated. And this is the only industry that's sort of being singled out. And the argument is that the administrators are saying, people might quit. They might go to other industries. They might go to home health agencies or assisted living facilities that are also short-staffed and don't have a vaccine mandate. So if they really, don't want to get vaccinated, they may quit over this.
So taking that into consideration and seeing shortages where we're already seeing them, how serious of a threat is that to the industry?
Well, they're already short-staffed. So that's the problem. I mean, the argument to get vaccinated is of course very strong, and you see these residents, even though they're vaccinated, they were vaccinated very early on, and so they're at the mark where their immunity might be waning, and we're seeing the deaths and go up among the residents. And by the end of June, it was down to about 3 for the entire week for all residents in the state of Florida. Last week, it was up to 72. So that's quite a spike. And the exposure is from the staff, these workers that are not vaccinated. So it's a very difficult situation because if they do quit, then you've got, understaffed facilities, and that's a danger because obviously you need those people to take care of the residents. But on the other hand, we really need them to get vaccinated. So the federal government has mandated this, and we know that sometime next month, the rules are going to come out exactly how this has to be done and when it has to be done by. And the fear is at that point, the workers might say, you know what, I had enough. I'm going somewhere else.
I'm wondering, Kate, talking to either some of the managers or just the head of staff over these different nursing homes, what are they saying to you regarding this mandate and this approach on trying to make sure that everyone's vaccinated?
Most of them are very concerned. Now, there are a few administrators that have already mandated this, and they've gotten their staff vaccinated. Some of them have offered, extra time off or pay bonuses, and that has been enough to persuade their reluctant staff. A lot of it does have to do with sort of the mentality of the administrator and how eager he or she has been to get the vaccine. So one of the administrators that I talked to said, you know what, if I want a paycheck, I have to get vaccinated. If you want a paycheck, you have to get vaccinated. And, he's set the bar already high. And he was among the very first people to get vaccinated. And he said, when the booster comes along, I'm going to get that too. So there's a certain sort of tone that an administrator can set and try to educate people, cajole people, bribe people, whatever you have to do to get them vaccinated.
There's a lot of different factors going into that and a lot more details that we haven't discussed here. And if you're interested in finding out more, I encourage you to take a look at Kate's story available right now at orlandosentinel.com. Kate, thank you so much.
Thanks, Tomara.
All right, Dwayne, I want to come on over to you now, talking about some big news coming out of Disney World, which has announced that it will be selling once again its annual passes and keeping its park reservation system. But first things first, let's talk about annual passes. When will Disney start selling again?
Disney stopped selling annual passes last year during the lockdown. So you could renew You just couldn't be a person all of a sudden wanted to go to the park. But even after the parks reopened in July, still no new annual passes. You could renew, but you could not get a new one. So now, as of September 8th, anyone off the street can now get a Disney annual pass. They've changed the format, they've changed the names. The prices are about the same as when we left, but some of the blockout dates are different. Here's the new names: the Disney Pixie Dust Pass. We're going in increasing intensity. There's the Disney Pixie Dust Pass. A little bit more, you get the Disney Pirate Pass. A little bit more, the Disney Sorcerer Pass. And all those are for Florida residents. And they do have some days that you can't go, like around the holidays. The more you pay, the less blocked out you are. Then finally, there's the Disney Incredipass, which allows you to go anytime you might want to go. And as of September 8th, you will be able to buy them again.
So, all right, I got to ask, as far as pricing goes, every time I hear a little bit more, I think I have a little bit bigger of a question mark.
Yeah.
So, yeah, what are prices looking like?
So if you get the Pixie Dust Pass, which is basically a weekday pass, it's $399 a year plus tax. If you go up to Pirate Pass, you're at $699. The Sorcerer Pass is $899. Now, if you're renewing, it's like 15% less than that. There's so many buttons to push. You can also add on to this. You can put water parks on there. There's a photo pass thing for 99 bucks a piece. Yeah, and so the Incredipass, the one where you go every day, 1,299. They are still doing the monthly installment thing, which you can do with after a down payment of $205, and then they chop up the rest over 11 months, 12 months, something like that.
So, Dwayne, you brought up current annual pass holders before. Those who still have the passes, do they have to do anything as they get ready to renew?
Right. If you have an annual pass right now, just sit still. You don't have to do anything or to sign up, nothing. You just keep doing what you're doing until your expiration date. And then they're going to shift you over to the Pixie Pirate Sorcerer Incredipass plan.
Okay, so Dwayne, we talked about this at the very beginning, the reservation system. So, will annual pass holders still have to do that?
The short answer is yes, for as long as we can see. The reservation, the park specific, date specific reservations started when the parks reopened in July, and that is going to continue. Right now, pre September 8th, you can have 3 reservations at a time. After September 8th, it will depend on what level pass you have, and that continues into these new passes. Like Pixie Dust is 3, Pirate Pass is 4. The more you pay, the more power you have. There are lots of different levels. If you're a pass holder that stays in a hotel, you can get more, that don't count against your base total. And there's going to be some bonus days that pop in from time to time, and we'll just have to see what that means.
Absolutely. Some pretty exciting stuff for Disney fans. September 8th, big day. Be sure to find out more in Dwayne's story at orlandosentinel.com. All right, Amy Drew, rounding the corner here for our last story, one of your latest columns, reading its headline: Orlando chefs help guests step outside their culinary comfort zone. Now, this is a very fun story. We were talking a little bit about it before the show started. So, talking about restaurants in Orlando with foreign roots and some non-traditional American dishes. I wanted to ask you first, going into this story, because it appears to be one of the main themes of it, is why is it so difficult for restaurants to create a menu with culinary options from their native country?
From what people have told me is that they want to be ambitious, and people say that they really want to get a taste of this culture or that culture, but a lot of times maybe the bulk of their clients are not quite ready as they think they are. They'll put things like hearts or gizzards, which are chicken parts that are on the menu in certain American restaurants, even not a lot, but they are consumed here in America, but they just don't order them. And then there's other issues with foreign textures and things that a lot of American restaurant guests just aren't used to. And so they get sent back a lot.
Now, you got to explore a few different restaurants here. Well, all right, that's an understatement. You're a master as far as restaurants go in the Central Florida area. But in
There are
terms of
so
this
many, I don't
story,
think I'll ever be.
in terms of this story, though, we're talking about several different restaurants. One of them that you recently visited was Lamb's Garden, which is a Chinese restaurant, I believe. Could you tell us a little bit about the restaurant and what you had there?
Lamb's is an interesting case because the restaurant, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, somebody will, that they've been open since the mid 70s. They are probably the oldest still operating Chinese restaurant in town, or certainly one of them. And when it first opened, it was very traditional American Chinese food. It was things like chow mein and egg rolls and sweet and sour chicken and all these things that are still on the menu. But when the current owner bought it from his uncle, he realized that there was an opportunity to serve things that were more authentically Chinese. So they kept the American Chinese menu and brought in live seafood tanks and expanded the menu, and it was a huge success. The Chinese community came out, business doubled, the restaurant more than almost doubled in size. And they added a lot of things that are not uncommon to eat in China, but not so much common here in the States. Things like beef tripe, intestine, tendon, chicken feet, which is on the dim sum menu, and probably one of the most popular dim sum dishes with Chinese guests, not so much with American.
I've had the chicken feet there before. It's
They're
pretty good,
delicious.
actually. Yeah,
They're
the only
very
time I've ever had it,
delicious.
but pretty fantastic.
They are.
Uh, one other cuisine that I wanted to jump in here with you was you were also at a Mexican restaurant. Can you tell us about that experience?
Yes, Chef Wendy Lopez, the executive chef at Reyes Mezcaleria, she has been trying to bring more authentic Mexican ingredients to the menu there. It's a very popular place. It's beautiful. It's a higher end Mexican restaurant. And so she was born in Mexico, actually, and she and her dad went back to Mexico to sort of reconnect with the culture, and they went to places that he had never even been. And she describes her father as very much like a meat and beans kind of guy, not an adventurous eater, right? And she said, well, if I can get him to eat some of these ingredients, then I can get anybody to eat these ingredients, right? And so in Oaxaca, they've been eating things like grasshoppers for thousands of years. It's just what's there. One of the resources off the land. And in many of these cases, what you see on these menus is just what was available in these countries and naturally what people ate. She brought back grasshoppers. She brought back the chiquitanas, which are ants, a species of ant. They get roasted on the comal, which is a big grill, and she retoasts them and puts like a chili oil on them, and they go into the dish with the octopus. And we have these wonderful little grasshoppers that you can get with mezcal flights, the spiciness and the smokiness. And these are eaten at football games in Mexico. It's not uncommon.
All right, I'm way about everything you just said. Actually, I haven't ever tried that.
I don't know if you can
Um,
see that. There it
it's
is.
not for
Sorry,
everybody
Kate.
though. Yeah,
I'm
Kate, how are
sorry.
you doing?
I'm sorry.
We'll have to do a team experience there one time.
They are, but these things are not really, they're lightly spiced, they're a little bit salty. They are not outside the realm of any average salty peanut bar snack. And they pair very well with mezcal. And I'm going to show you. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. Look.
Nailing it. Well, there you guys go. If you're interested in broadening your tastes, you're feeling a little adventurous, take a look at Amy Drew's column at orlandosentinel.com, where, of course, you can find
Oh,
all the
poor
other
Kate.
stories. Kate, we're going to make it through this all right. Where, of course, you can find all the other stories that we talked about here today as well. For those of you who are subscribers to the Orlando Sentinel who are looking for more of this content, thank you so much for continuing to support our work and supporting local journalism. If you want to become a supporter, it's really easy to do so. All you need to do is visit orlandosentinel.com/subscribe. But as for OSN, that will do it for us today. A big thank you to Kate, to Dwayne, and Amy Drew for keeping us filled in what's going on in our community. We'll be back again with more news tomorrow at noon. We'll see you then. Stay healthy and stay safe.
Watch Orlando Sentinel Now live every weekday at noon on our Facebook page and on orlandosentinel.com.